What's up, good people? This is Azia. And as we look at the tape, we're doing an account review. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I'm hoping for it to be short, but you know, it's an account review, so this may take a while. Anyway, so I guess we'll start off with characters. So as it stands right now, I have, according to the records here, as soon as we allies, I have 184 characters out of 190. If I had to guess, the extra 6, they're placeholders, right? So they're going to be releasing an additional 6 characters. That's the only thing I can think of, unless they're including these 3 here, right? The 5-star version of Seal, the another style version of Lovely, and then the 5-star version of Miyu here. Those are the only 3. But I have the ES or another style of those characters, right? Except for Lovely, of course. But yeah, in regards to characters here, let's open up the party and get this party started. Okay. Look at sword here. Oh, not katana, sword. There we go. We can sort by shadow. Go by shadow first. As you can see, I have pretty much only 2 shadow characters maxed out for swords. Brino and Ruina. I was hoping there would be more to both of their stories. You know what I mean? Mainly Brino, because he's an elf and so is she. So I definitely would want more. You know, because if we look, he's a dark elf. You know, now of course that should be a design choice, but I don't know. I don't know. You know, just saying. Anyway, Monalco we have at 187 only because I was bored. All right. And gave her some additional Learning Shadow Swords. Alphen at 90, and of course Shannon at 82 here. And I've already talked about why you would have wanted to get Shannon at least 80 to open up that additional skill slot. Moving on to Fist. As you can see, I have every Gacha Fist character finished. Only one here is Ukwaji, which I'm pretty sure we are not going to be getting another Fist character. You know, like, I'm pretty sure we're not. I don't think we are. You know. So, if I get to, say, I don't know what the math is on that. If we wanted to get him to 255, we would need about 239-ish. Lowering Shadow Fist, which I'm in no rush to do that. The completionist in me wants to do that, but again, I'm in absolutely zero rush to do that. So anyway, katanas here, we have Nikki here at 255. I liked her story, right? Definitely liked it. Yuri, I enjoyed the tales of Vesperia, so that's why he's at 178 right now. Do we have, yep, he's at 180 now. I'll probably give him the rest, to be honest with you. Victor, right? So, Sesta at 95. Again, wanted to get her to 80 as fast as humanly possible, so we did that. All right, moving on. Lance here. This is all the characters we have for Lance, so not much to really talk about here. Tufa's good for if MP is a concern for you, right? Because you can basically use someone's most powerful skill first turn. Considering the equipment you have, you either need to have a Falcon badge, Falcon's Blessing, or a Mechanai weapon, right? And first turn, say this would be like using Flamelopus Neptune, for example, first turn with Tufa in the party. You got nothing to worry about. So, anyway, moving on here. This guy right here, probably one of the most frustrating because if you look at the board, what's this quest? You know what I mean? Like, that's why this is one of the most frustrating, because there's nothing else here. And I was like, okay, hello, what's the quest here? You know, can we get him to at least 5-star? So, anyway, moving on. Axe here, let's see what we got for Axe Cactus. I mean, sure, we have the bulk of them completed. But if I'm being honest, the only one I would actually use in this entire lineup is Suzette, because she could set a win zone, and I wouldn't bother with using anybody else. I mean, sure, Ilulu, last I checked, can set a slash zone here, but I don't know about you guys, but how often do you see yourself using this attack type zone? Slash, pierce, blunt. Like, how often do you guys actually use those? So, but that's just me. Done absolutely nothing with Sophia. As you can all see, just got her to level 80 and just left it alone. Moving on. Bo here, finished up Nona. Finished her up. Like I said, this version of Nona, in my opinion, is more base is best used for support, offensive support or defensive support. That's how I viewed this one. I've had more luck with damage in regards to Nona using her regular version of her, right? And not the AS version of her. All right, so there's that. But as you can see, we have a few others at 255, Sukiya, Paressa, Rovella. Getting someone with an ES version of 255 is not as hard as people seem to think, because they have an additional weapon type, right? So we go from Katana here, and I can max out the Katana, use up all my Learning Shadow Katanas, and then I can just swap back to the ES version of them and then max out this way, right? That's how you would actually go about completing them, all right? Because it does carry over, all right? Hammer here, again, almost every hammer user maxed out apart from Daisy, you know what I mean? And I don't use her much, I definitely don't use her much. I think I used her for like when the Azami encounter, AF's Azami encounter came out. That's where she got used. Going out, let's see here. Staff, we got Nagi. Doesn't get used much. She was used quite a bit back then for holding Grasta, right? For say if I'm running like a magic-based team, okay, I would want her to hold Grasta, particularly if I had, I believe, a Flam in the party. That's where she would get used. All right. Yakumo is at 188 because why not? All right. Probably one of the strongest shade type characters in the game right now, actually. Yakumo. Dunerith. There's Radika. Ify. Notice how I stopped at 80. Shion, which damn, I don't have enough to get him to 80, but ideally I want to get him to 80 to unlock this here. All right. Haven't grinded for Harley that much, or the Siesta Helena as well. So there's that. Go back to light here. We go up to sword. As you can see, a handful of sword users finished. Again, when it comes to completing ES characters, right? Same concept applies for Claude. It was just, okay, I can max out him for bow and then swap, and then finish up with the sword. By the way, I only started taking my pool seriously when this version of Claude was released. It's pretty much when I started taking my paid pulls seriously. Apart from that, I was a free-to-play character. You know what I mean? But when he was released, I'm like, all right, fine. Let's do this, But that's how that worked, in case anybody's wondering. All right. Same thing for Izuka, right? Again, and then swap, take the rest, boom, and finished. All right. Miyu, same deal, right? Finish up, swap, and then we're pretty much good to go. All right. But here's my 255 characters for sword here, guiding light swords. Cynthia will most likely be next. And as far as finishing, but if I'm being honest, I probably won't do that. And probably focus more on some of these free ones here. So either Violet, Cress, or Mila? I'll probably go with this one here, actually, now that I think about it. Because of her utility, you know what I mean? In the game compared to everyone else, really. So it's like, all right, do I use someone like a Violet who, okay, not sure what just happened there. Those are really my only choices, her or Violet. Cress, I mean, he kind of falls short, because because he was that free slash zone setter. But now we have, you know, slash zone setters like in form of radius. So it's like, all right, so if I'm going to grind for sword, right, it's either going to be between violet and, of course, the one we have on the screen right now. So, and I'm, again, thinking utility, you know, as well. You know, it's like that end of turn heal could come in handy, you know. So, things like that. I'll probably go with this one here, not violet, but I don't know. We'll see. Fist here. Excuse me. Fist here. So we have Ash here done. I already did a whole video about that. Mariel, she's been done since a very long time ago. Right? I'm talking years ago. Right? We're currently working on Serene here, hence why she was in the party, because you can run her dungeon incredibly quickly. All right, we have Dewey here at 165, Lovely at 108. I don't have the other version of Lovely. In fact, I think I only need, let me see. Yeah, Lovebird Treatise, only need one of them. And so, and there you go. You can see my chant scripts. Right, I only have 42, my prayer scripts and my murmur scripts, which I have about 2,000 or so, I think. I just got Twiggy. Let me go ahead and throw him in the party here and show you all like one thing that you may want to consider getting, even if you're free to play, right? Spend the $5 to get the Daybreak, because that boosts how much experience you would get. So if you find yourself with more characters or a lot of characters, then having those can actually come in handy, because it makes leveling them up easier. Just looking at this, we get a 50, 30, 30. You know what I mean? Just on the equipment alone, you know, if you combine that with the Grasta, and this is something you'll get later on in the game, self-improvement, right? That gives a 50-50. So now if we go back and look, we have 50, 50, 30, 30. You know what I mean? So it just further boosts the amount of XP one would actually get. All right. For those that are wondering. All right, moving on. We were just looking at Fist here. That's pretty much all we have here for Fist. Straw Boys, one I could have finished a very long time ago, if I'm being honest, but I don't use them much, really. So, moving on. Katana here. We have Kane, who's finished. Curio, who's finished. Otaha and Chion. So naturally, what that means is, anytime I get any additional guiding light, I'll likely give it to Azami. All right. And the reason why I do this, by the way, because finishing up both Serene and Azami is going to be pretty quick, right? Because we can run green keys and red keys. Green keys inside their dungeons, red keys inside of TTW. All right. So they'll be done much faster than when I finished Garyu, for example. You know what I mean? So there's that. Moving on. Lance users here, right? This is, I mean, you see it. Tsukiya at 255. You see it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I didn't even want to get her to 255, but it just kind of happened. You know what I mean? Anyway, I finished up Bria, Nomar, right? And like I mentioned before in like my videos on Light and Shadow, the reason why you want to get certain characters to 255 isn't just because that he had additional skill slots or whatever. It's because it makes getting someone else to 255 easier, right? And you'll see what I mean when we get to Staff Light, all right? Let's go ahead and dabble on over to Axe here, right? Nikoko, again, probably one of the fastest characters, one of the fastest characters in the game. I believe the only one that destroys Nikoko would be Straw Boy, if you build him correctly, you know? So like no equipment, I believe this Nikoko is at like 338 speed, which is nuts. So anyway, we got Otaha here at 255. Additionally, originally I wanted to get her to 80, but as you can see, we got it at 255 because why not? Kikyo, right? I got her around the same time I got Claude, you know, during Claude's another style banner. And that's pretty much, again, around that time I started taking my paid banner pulls seriously. So when I pretty much made the decision, I was just going to pull on paid banners. And then at that point, we also got to understand that there wasn't much happening in the game either. So anytime there was a paid banner, I didn't always pull on it because it's like, all right, I already have these characters, you know? So I kind of left it alone. I only started taking the paid banner pulls extremely seriously, and that's important this year, right? And what I mean by that is back in April is when I really started paying attention to it. because I realized how close I was to finishing my staff gotcha characters, right? I'm like looking at it like, wait a second. I just finished Flamelopus and Eva in the same month. Okay, let me go ahead and pay far more attention to these pulls. You know what I mean? So, for example, I can pretty much use those to. Oh, this one's already done. Terrible example. Wow, that's all we got, right? Looking at Esta 16, I can give them to Esta here, you know, so things like that. Helps because when you get, say, more of said character, you'll find that it's easier for you to max out on them, you know. Here on my staff here, I'm pretty sure losers become winners. I believe that's his name on YouTube's. Would enjoy seeing this right here. 255 of the Hozukis, you know what I'm saying? Can I finish your quest? Yes, I did. Awesome. Right, so there we have that. I do have the new version of Pizzica. I have to go do this quest. That's one of the things that actually is probably the most time-consuming thing. The quest. I have so many I have to do. It's insane. So many I have to do. Primea, right? Haven't even started that quest line yet for either version of Primea. Okay, hammer here. Here we have the Luring Shadow, Guiding Light hammer. Suzette, again, one of those characters where you can max out here, then swap, and then finish it up here. Okay. I haven't used this version of her like much at all. You know what I mean? I want to. I just haven't had the time to. But I like it. Here we have Yifa, right? Finish mainly for the spirit here. But there's that. We have Skull at 114. Okay. Because why not? You know, he's a thunder user. You know, we don't have many of those in the game. All right. Rika, Poporo, right? Characters I don't really do much with. Now, here's what I mean by staff. When I tell you I have every Guiding Light gotcha staff user finished, this is pretty much what I mean. They're pretty much all done. As you can see, two of the most two overpowered, or I guess most would consider overpowered characters in the game, Eva and Flamelopus, right? Prime examples, right? Overpowered, 255 of them, same month. Lele here has a similar ability to Flam, except it's based on like her MP usage, right? So there's that. Melody is done. Mighty 7, Starkey is done. Starkey I finished rather recently, a few weeks ago, I believe. So naturally, the only 3 Guiding Light staff I have left is Levia, Mayu, and Saki, and I'm gonna do them in that exact order. Levia being first, Mayu next, Saki final. So things like that. Let's see, what else do we have here? I guess we already saw the chant scripts. What else could I possibly show you? Battle simulator. All right, because again, I don't know how long this video is going to be. All right, battle simulator, which again, this is one of those areas that I didn't put too much stock into, and I haven't really took the time to clear battle simulator. Like, because I'm looking at these awards, and I'm like, all right, do I need any of these right now? No, not really. Clear with the woman only party. I'm clearing 20 turns, clear all other missions at the same time, right? Probably not. I don't know what else that gives, by the way. So, unless I look at the Another Eden wiki. Here, this extreme here, right? This here says all moderate power royalty. So, I might actually do this one. Not necessarily in this video. Clear with only light characters. Yeah, I definitely might do this one. You know, I know who I can bring for that. Let me just see here. Trial of Burning Rage here. Right, so you all see, like, I may have every character in the game, but that doesn't mean I have everything completed. You know, some of these I haven't even done at all. Right, like if we look at these later versions here, I've done nothing here in this Trial of Those Severed from Fate. You know, trying to deal high damage within a single hit. Counterattacks and non-AF characters can help, right? Which this actually describes my gameplay, right? Like I try to do things with no AF. So the team I have now would fit perfectly for this because it's a no AF team, and Yakumo would be the one dealing all the damage, you know, in the millions easily. With one hit outside of another force, that you know how easy that is. You know what I mean? That I could do that with a water-based team with Flamelopus, you know. So again, that pretty much describes my overall gameplay here. If I look at this here, men only. Yeah, there's not really much here, right? I guess the only reason why I would actually do it would be like for some of the badges that get released or whatever. But that's about it. You know what I mean? And maybe some zones, you know? But now we have characters who set zones on their own. So there's that. Let me get out of here and go back to an area. All right. If we look at, say, items here. All right, so we can see where we're at. I'm not going to show off weapons because that just makes no sense. Personally, when it comes to weapons, go for things that increase speed. And the reason why you want to do that for a few reasons. One, if you're doing things at master difficulty, speed is incredibly important. Okay, but two, if you do AFs, right? If you're the type of person to AF a boss, well, then the higher that speed is, the more turns you get during your AF. So things like the Luna weapons, for example, can help boost speed. And there's a few others. I think like the time, what do they call it? Time restored weapons can also boost speed. What else would boost speed? I mean, you could check the Anothereden wiki for things that boost speed. You could just literally do a search for SPD, and pretty much anything that would boost speed would show up. Like I believe the some plasma weapons can boost speed. In fact, I believe what is it? There's a reforged weapon. I think it's a staff. Hold on, let me see here. Which one is it? I'll have to reforge it myself, actually. Yeah, this here. If you got this, I believe this would also boost your speed when you reforge it, based on light or shadow. So naturally, if you give this to a character who has, say, like, I don't know, 80 light or shadow, then of course what you can expect to have happen is you'll have boosted speed, right? I remember reading about this one in the Anothereden wiki. You know, we're looking for weapons that boost speed. But definitely the Luna weapons would do so. The prismatic weapons from the Chrono Cross crossover would do that. Plasma weapons in particular definitely do that, right? So you have your pick on weapons and whatnot. For the armor, it would be the same thing, really. I would go more towards speed. But that's just me. You know, like things like an Earth Spirit bracelet, which I believe boosts speed by like 20, right? You know, things like that come in handy. As far as badges are concerned, there's tons of badges that we can all use to boost speed. There's a lot of badges that boost speed. But mainly, if I had to choose the ones to use, it would be things like, oh boy, this is going to be ridiculous. Based on usage, really. So I haven't been using, say, most of these here. Unless, of course, it made sense. I didn't want to sacrifice anything else. Or so as you can see, the power badges here. But mainly what I've been using for, like, say, super bosses, actually, are those badges you get from TTW as soon as I get there. Yeah, it might be time to do some badge trading because this is just insane. Any minute now. Any minute now. All right. Yep, might be time for some badge training out here. Any minute now. Here we go. Perfect. So things like this here is pretty much what I would use during super bosses, mainly again to boost speed. Okay. And there's a lot of these you get during TTW, which come in handy. I mean, 50 plus but your HP is dropped. That's it. Psh, okay, I'll do that. You know what I mean? Because it's easy. You can actually set rage and have somebody else take the damage. You know what I mean? So, yeah, things like that come in handy. So there's that. So let's see, what else can I actually show you all? Battle Simulator showed you all. I don't know, super bosses? Oh, maybe fishing. We'll go with fishing. Oop, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's see. My fishing levels here. This is enough for me to get Levia, right? Dimensional Hug, Master V, New Material Float, Refrigerator. All right, 2. Right, that was enough for me to basically get Levia. I'm in the 4 days. Harpoon fishing. I'm not even sure where I would get that. All right, this is pretty much what I have for harpoon fishing. I haven't done a lot of harpoon stuff, you know. So I'm sure there's some bosses there, some super bosses there that I haven't taken on yet. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. Let's see, what else can I show? Maybe Grasta, right? For Grasta, for this, you want to have as many pain Grasta as possible, which is, again, you can just run Future Garrelia to get those. Or say, who else drops it? I want to say, whose dungeon is it that drops them? Part of me wants to say it's a zombie's dungeon, but I could be wrong. It may have been Garyu's dungeon that dropped most of them. But either or, like, this is kind of what you would want to do. Getting attack Grasta. I mainly would focus on pain. Because you can get an abundance of those. Excuse me. In the game. You know, sure, it's based on, like, the attack type, right? So, Power of Pain Sword and things of that nature. But having more of those allows you to, like, you don't have to constantly swap Grasta. Same thing for Grasta ores. Things like a Bullseye Ore, for example, which I believe you get inside of Underworld Garrelia. Having an abundance of those makes it so that you can pretty much give every Power of Agony a Bullseye Ore. That way you don't have to switch it out for anything. You know what I mean? So things like that. Personally, what I did was I gave pretty much almost all of the Power of Agonies a Bullseye Ore, right? That way it's like, okay, cool. I can just give somebody a Bullseye Ore with the Power of Agony. You know what I mean? And then go from there. Okay? Then the other ones would be like things that, if maxed out, you would actually share Grasta. So things like these personality Grastas here are also incredibly important because they help boost the damage of your characters, right? Personalities enhance if max HP kind of Grasta. Let's see if we can find one here. Enhance at low HP, right? Could be shared. Power of Inferno, Rapids, Quake, Gale, Void, right? Those are shareable. Okay. Dark Shade, which I believe we saw earlier, right? Dark Shades, right? This is shareable. Okay. Crystals and things like that. These are things that are literally shareable across different characters. So these are kind of the ones that I would pretty much focus on. Really, but at start, I mean, the pain's going to come in handy. You know what I mean? Because, like, the damage is just nuts. All right. These here. Did I even switch? Yes, I did. All right, these here, I mean, use them sparingly. As you can see, I have them. Victory Celebration here. Right? Like, I don't use them much, really. Yifa has this to boost her spirit. That's pretty much what that's there for. Radius has this to boost her HP. Byaga has this to MP. Regen. Sound Body. The Sound Bodies come in handy, right? Because they give, say, staff use an additional 300 HP. All right. And then same here, additional 50 MP. All right. So that's nice to have on, say, someone like a Efi, and we have, say, a Yakumo in the party, right? Giving them an additional 50 MP because a lot of his skills MP dependent. You know what I mean? So come in handy there. Self-improvement, all right, is a good one. Although if it's 50-50, I don't know how this actually works, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is, you know, what I'm looking at is like, okay, how does this actually work, you know, in the grand scheme of things? Because it says 50 experienced user, then additional individual XP 50%, right? Does that boost it 100% or is it just the 50? Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? So things like that. I could have also used, say, like what's it called? A dominant. I forget. It's an ore basically that I increase that number from up to about 40%. You know what I mean? But anyway, there's that there. It might just be a 50 now that I think about it. So let's see here. Is there anything else here to show? No, not really. That's pretty much it though, really. Like I said, the challenge here is literally going through character quests because there's a lot of them here. Like, who are these? Beneath Cold Skin, haven't started that one. Haven't started that one. I have her at 255, haven't started that quest at all. Same thing for this one here. You know what I mean? But again, this is a paid account review. All right. Some say a cheat account. A cheat account, which it's not, but you know, if it was a cheat account, my luck with completing PCD would be far higher, right? I think I have the ability to do a PCD, so we're gonna go ahead and do this here. Maybe luck is on my side because I got the Twiggy. Maybe because I have Mackie here, I'll get lucky. We will see. Right, 345 here. Yeah, some of you guys be having like thousands of stamps. Nah, my luck was been, see, yeah, the odds of me getting thousands of stamps is so low. This is ridiculous. Right. Yep. Yeah, so the most I'll get is like 2 or 3. And then I'm out. You know what I mean? That's my luck with this area. All right. So, yeah. You know, and I've been playing this game for literally years, and it's terrible. I completed it twice. All right. So that's pretty much it, though, guys. I'm going to get out of here. That's my account there. Yeah. Next video will probably be like on, I don't know, my farming teams, if you will. You know what I mean? And the things I would consider when building them. All right, so I'm gonna get out of here. Talk to you all later.